When Justine's name flashed on Elon Musk's phone at 2:03 a.m., he almost let it go to voicemail. They hadn't spoken in 3 years, but something made him answer. A decision that would unravel 20 years of lies, expose a corporate conspiracy that killed their son, and reveal that nothing about his life was what it seemed. "Elon, I need you to listen carefully. They're going to kill me if you don't do exactly what I say." Those 13 words would transform the genius who sent rockets to space and revolutionized electric cars into a father desperate to save not just his family, but the future of humanity itself. Because the prototype he thought he'd destroyed, the technology that could control every satellite in orbit, it was just the beginning. The phone shattered the silence at 2:03 a.m. Elon Musk jolted awake, his heart already racing before his eyes, fully opened. The glowing screen cast blue light across his sparse bedroom walls. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, Austin's skyline stretched out like a circuit board in the darkness. He never kept his phone on at night. Too many emergencies, too many fires to put out at Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink. But tonight, he'd forgotten to switch it off after the late Starship meeting. "Unknown caller" flashed on the screen. He let it ring once more, then swiped to answer. This better be good. "Elon!" The voice hit him like ice water. "It's Justine." His hand tightened on the phone. Justine, his first wife, the mother of his first 5 children. They hadn't spoken in 3 years, not since that awkward encounter at Xavier's, now Vivian's, 18th birthday party. "Justine, it's 2 in the morning. What's wrong?" Her voice trembled. "Elon, I need you to listen carefully. They're going to kill me if you don't do exactly what I say." The words didn't compute. He sat up fully now, bare feet touching the cold, wooden floor. "What? Who?" "Justine, what are you talking about?" "Please," she interrupted, her breathing rapid. "Just listen. I don't have much time." The terror in her voice was real. After 16 years of marriage, he knew every tone, every inflection. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't a breakdown. This was raw fear. "Where are you?" He was already moving toward his closet, phone pressed to his ear. "Are you safe?" "No, I'm not safe. And neither are you if you don't listen." Her voice dropped to a whisper. "They've been watching us. All of us. Since the beginning." "Who's watching?" He grabbed the first shirt his fingers found. "Justine, you need to call the police. The police can't help with this." A sound in the background. Footsteps? "Elon, remember Nevada?" The name stopped him cold. Their first son. The baby who never made it past 10 weeks. Sid's. The worst moment of their marriage, of his life. The moment that broke something between them that never fully healed. "What about Nevada?" His voice came out hoarse. It wasn't Sid's. The words hung in the air like smoke. The shirt fell from his hand. "What did you say?" "Not over the phone." Her voice cracked. "I'm sending you coordinates. You need to come. Now. Tonight." His phone chimed with a message. GPS coordinates, somewhere in Bastrop County, about 40 minutes southeast of Austin, near the SpaceX development facility where they tested rocket engines. "Justine, this is insane. Why didn't you—" "Come alone," she interrupted. "No Tesla. They can track those. No security detail. No phone tracking. Leave your normal phone at home." She knew about his security protocols. Of course she did. She'd lived with them for 16 years, back when PayPal first made him a target for kidnapping threats. "Justine? And Elon?" She paused, and he heard something that might have been a sob. Bring the prototype. His blood turned to ice. What? Prototype? You know which one. The one from Neuralink. The one you never destroyed. The line went dead. Elon stood in his closet, phone still pressed to his ear, listening to the dial tone. His mind raced through possibilities, each more impossible than the last. Justine knew about the Neuralink prototype, the one they'd built in 2019 before the FDA shut down their early human trials, the one he'd sworn they'd destroyed. His hands shook as he dressed in dark clothes, jeans, black t-shirt, jacket. From his private safe, he retrieved a device the size of a cigarette pack. The prototype. He'd kept it all these years, telling himself it was for scientific purposes. In reality, he'd never been able to let go of what it could do. The device could interface with any satellite network. Starlink, GPS, military communications, everything. In the wrong hands, it could cripple global infrastructure. In the right hands, it could save it. He pocketed the device and grabbed an old baseball cap. The Tesla vehicles all had tracking systems. He needed something anonymous. In the garage, past the row of sleek electric cars, sat his emergency vehicle, a beat-up Ford pickup truck he'd bought in cash 5 years ago. As he started the engine, his normal phone buzzed with alerts. Tesla's after-hours emergency system, SpaceX's automated monitoring, Neuralink's security protocols, all asking where he was, all wanting explanations. He turned off the phone completely. The roads were empty at this hour, but Elon couldn't shake the feeling he was being watched. In his rearview mirror, headlights appeared and disappeared with too much regularity. His hands gripped the wheel tighter. Justine's words echoed in his mind. It wasn't Sid's. Nevada had died in Elon's arms. The baby was fine one moment, gone the next. The doctors said it was no one's fault. These things happened. Sudden infant death syndrome. Rare, tragic, unexplainable. But if it wasn't Sid's... The GPS guided him off the main highway onto smaller roads. The Austin lights faded behind him. Ahead, darkness stretched like an ocean. The coordinates were leading him toward government land, toward places where SpaceX tested rockets in the early days. His phone, the backup one, chimed once. A text from the same unknown number. 10 minutes. Come alone. Trust no one. Trust no one. Including Justine, the headlights in his mirror had disappeared. The road ahead was empty. Elon pressed harder on the accelerator, knowing that whatever waited for him at those coordinates would change everything. After all, in Silicon Valley and NASA and everywhere in between, he'd learned one truth. The most impossible things were usually true, and sometimes the people you trusted most were the ones who destroyed you. The GPS announced his arrival. Ahead, an abandoned structure loomed against the starlit sky. An old military facility, the kind used for testing during the Cold War. Elon killed the headlights and coasted to a stop. Somewhere in the darkness, Justine was waiting. And she wasn't alone. Elon sat in the truck, engine off, windows down. The Texas night air carried the scent of sage and something else. Gasoline, maybe. His eyes adjusted to the darkness, scanning the abandoned building. No movement, no lights, just shadows within shadows. His mind drifted back to 2000. That's when he'd met Justine. Not in Silicon Valley, where everyone expected. At a Queen's University party in Canada. She was studying English literature. He was already deep in the PayPal world, dreaming bigger dreams. The PayX merger hadn't happened yet. Tesla was just an idea. SpaceX didn't exist. Justine had been different from the tech world women. She read novels, she wrote them. She challenged his worldview with questions about art and humanity, while he talked about changing the world through technology. They married in 2000, right as PayX was becoming PayPal. By 2002, eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. Elon took his share and immediately started planning SpaceX. Justine was pregnant with Nevada Alexander Musk, born in 2002, died 10 weeks later. The memory hit like a physical blow. Elon gripped the steering wheel. The SIDS diagnosis had made sense at the time. Tragic but natural. But if Justine was right, if someone had killed their baby, a flashlight beam swept across his windshield. Elon ducked, heart hammering. The light moved on, searching the perimeter. He counted 3 distinct beams. Justine had said to come alone, but clearly she hadn't done the same. He slipped the prototype from his pocket, ran his thumb over its smooth surface. Such a small thing to hold so much power. The 2019 Neuralink trials had been revolutionary. Direct brain-computer interfaces. The media had focused on the medical applications, helping paralyzed patients walk again. They'd ignored the classified applications. This prototype could access satellites, not just Starlink, but military networks, GPS systems, global communications, infrastructure. It was supposed to be destroyed after the FDA shut down the human trials. But Elon had one weakness. He never destroyed potential. His phone vibrated. The backup one. Text from Justine. Third silo from the left. Alone. He studied. The building again. Old missile silos from the 1960s. Perfect place for secrets. Perfect place for ambush. The flashlight beams had moved away. Now or never. Elon stepped out of the truck, closing the door softly. His footsteps crunched on gravel as he approached the abandoned facility. The building loomed larger, concrete and rust, bones of Cold War paranoia. Third silo from the left, he muttered. The structures were massive, each one designed to hold intercontinental ballistic missiles. Now they held only darkness and whatever waited for him inside. As he walked, more memories surfaced. After Nevada's death, he and Justine had tried IVF. Twins in 2004, Griffin and Xavier. More twins in 2006, Kai and Saxon. Then triplets, Damien, making 6 boys total. Xavier had transitioned at 18, becoming Vivian. That had been hard for Elon to accept. Not the transition itself, but losing another child to something he couldn't control. First Nevada to death, then Xavier to a different identity. Justine had handled it better. She always had more emotional intelligence than him. That's why the divorce in 2008 had been so brutal. She'd said he was emotionally unavailable. He'd said she didn't understand the pressure of running 3 companies. They'd both been right. A sound from inside the silo. Footsteps. Human. Definitely. Elon reached the entrance, a heavy metal door standing partially open. Rust flaked under his fingers as he pulled it wider. Justine? His voice echoed in the darkness. Here. Her voice came from deep inside. Follow the stairs. Down. Every instinct told him this was wrong. Too convenient. Too staged. But her voice held the same fear as the phone call. And if there was even a chance, she was in real danger. He started down the concrete steps, using his phone's flashlight. The air grew colder, mustier. These silos went deep underground, designed to survive nuclear strikes. "I'm coming," he called. "Are you okay?" "Just keep coming." All the way down. The stairs seemed endless. His light bounced off corroded metal, pipes and concrete walls. Graffiti from decades of trespassers covered the upper levels, but as he descended, the walls became cleaner, as if maintained. That made him nervous. Finally, he reached bottom level. The space opened into a large circular room, the old missile control center. Computer terminals from the 1960s lined the walls, dead monitors reflecting his flashlight back at him. Justine stood in the center of the room. Even in the poor light, he could see she'd changed. Thinner than when he'd last seen her. Her hair was shorter, grayer. But it was definitely her. Elon. She didn't move toward him. "You brought it?" He held up the prototype. "What's this about? Who's trying to kill you?" She glanced around nervously. "Put it on the console. The center one. Not until you explain." A sound from behind him. Footsteps on the stairs. Heavy boots. Multiple people. Justine's eyes widened with terror. "Elon! Run!" But there was nowhere to go. The control room had only one exit, the stairs he'd just come down. The footsteps grew louder, closer. "You said to come alone." He looked around desperately for another way out. "I know what I said." She grabbed his arm. "But they made me call you. They've had me for weeks." The flashlight beams were in the stairwell now, illuminating the walls with harsh white light. Elon could hear voices. At least 3 people. Maybe more. "Why?" He pulled the prototype back. "Why me? Why this?" "Because you're the only one who knows how to activate it." Her fingernails dug into his arm. "And because Nevada's death wasn't the end, it was the beginning." The first figure appeared at the bottom of the stairs. A man in black tactical gear, assault rifle raised. More figures behind him. "Dr. Musk," the lead man said calmly. "Please place the device on the console and step away from Ms. Wilson." Justine. Wilson. Her maiden name. She'd taken it back after the divorce. Elon kept the prototype clutched in his fist. "Who are you? What do you want?" "We want what you brought," the man replied. "The prototype. And then we want you to activate it." "Like hell I will." The man smiled coldly. "You will. Or Ms. Wilson dies. And this time, it won't look like Sid's." Elon's world tilted sideways. They knew about Nevada. They knew everything. The key tactical team leader stepped forward, his rifle trained on Elon's chest. 3 more figures fanned out behind him, forming a semicircle. Their faces were covered with black masks, but their coordinated movement spoke of military training. I said, "Put the device on the console," the leader repeated. "Now." Elon's mind raced. These weren't random kidnappers. They knew about Neuralink's classified projects. They knew about Nevada. They'd orchestrated this entire scenario. "How do I know you won't kill her anyway?" He glanced at Justine, who stood frozen in the center of the room. "You don't," the man admitted. "But you know we'll definitely kill her if you don't cooperate." Justine's eyes met his. She gave the slightest shake of her head. A warning? Or was she telling him not to give up the prototype? From somewhere above them came a deep rumble. Machinery starting up. The sound echoed through the silo's concrete walls. "What's that?" Elon asked. "Backup arriving," the leader said calmly. "Chinese satellites detected your vehicle 15 minutes ago. We had to make sure you came alone." Chinese satellites. Starlink systems. The prototype in his hand could control them all. That's why they needed him. Only he knew the activation codes. The rumbling grew louder. Helicopter rotors. Multiple aircraft. "Put down the device," the leader said again. "Last warning." Elon moved toward the console, playing for time. The old control panel was covered in dust. its buttons and switches dead for decades. Strange place to activate cutting-edge technology. "Here's what I don't understand," he said, stalling. "If you've been planning this for months, why grab Justine? Why? Not just take me?" "Because you're too visible," another voice answered. A woman this time, stepping out from behind one of the computer terminals. Tesla stock would crash. SpaceX missions would halt. Too much attention. She lowered her mask, revealing an Asian woman in her 40s. Elon didn't recognize her, but something about her military bearing suggested Special Forces background. "Dr. Musk, please," she continued. "We don't want to hurt Ms. Wilson, but we need that prototype activated. Lives depend on it." "Whose lives?" Elon demanded. The lead man checked his watch. "In 6 hours, if that device isn't activated and transmitting on specific frequencies, several American spy satellites will be destroyed. That means our people in Russia, China, Iran, blind, dead." Elon felt the weight of the prototype in his hand. $6 billion of research compressed into a device, smaller than a TV remote. If he activated it, they could save those satellites. They could also take control of global communications. "And after I activate it?" he asked. "You let us go?" "After you activate it," the woman said, "you disappear. Both of you. New identities. New lives. The official story will be that Elon Musk died in a car accident tonight." The helicopter sounds were directly overhead now. The building shook slightly. Justine stepped closer. "Elon, don't! Back away from him!" the leader snapped. "No!" She stood her ground. "If you're going to kill me anyway, I have things to say first." The tactical team exchanged glances. The woman nodded. "1 minute," she said. Justine moved toward Hanandweef. Elon, stopping just out of reach. "Remember our first date?" "What?" He stared at her. Now wasn't the time for nostalgia. "Our first real date. After that party in Canada. You took me to that awful Chinese restaurant in Palo Alto. Justine, you ordered for both of us. Beef and broccoli. I hate beef and broccoli." What was she doing? He looked into her eyes, trying to understand. "Then you talked about your plans," she continued. "Mars colonies, electric cars, neural interfaces. I thought you were insane." She took another step forward. "Time's up," the leader said. "But that night," Justine continued, "you also showed me something. Do you remember?" Suddenly, he understood. The night she was referring to never happened. They'd never been to a Chinese restaurant in Palo Alto. She was sending him a coded message. His thumb found the prototype's main button. Not to activate it, to trigger its electromagnetic pulse function. A last resort designed to fry nearby electronics. "I remember," he said loudly. He pressed the button. The lights on every tactical weapon went dark. Night vision goggles shorted out. The room plunged into complete darkness. "Run!" Justine shouted. Chaos erupted. Shouts in multiple languages. The IDA sound of people stumbling in the darkness. Gunshots. Wild. Uncontrolled. Elon grabbed Justine's arm and pulled her toward where he remembered the stairs to be. His flashlight app was dead from the EMP, but muscle memory guided them. Behind them, the tactical team scrambled to regroup. They reached the stairs and began climbing. Justine stumbled once, and he caught her. She was lighter than he expected, frailer. "You okay?" "Go!" she hissed. "Just go!" They climbed faster. Above them, more sounds, boots on metal. The backup team was inside. "There!" someone shouted from below. Flashlight beams swept the stairwell, some working despite the EMP. They reached ground level and burst outside. The night air hit them like a wall. 3 helicopters circled overhead, searchlights sweeping the area. "The truck," Elon pointed. They ran across the open ground. "His keys. Where were his keys?" He patted his pockets frantically. A spotlight caught them halfway to the vehicle. Then another, "Stop!" A voice boomed from a helicopter loudspeaker. "Federal agents! Nobody move!" "Federal agents?" Elon looked at Justine. "I thought—" "Nothing is what you think," she gasped. "Just run!" They reached the truck. He found the keys, fumbled with the door. More people were emerging from the building, at least a dozen figures in black tactical gear. The engine turned over on the second try. Elon threw the transmission into reverse, tires spinning on loose gravel. Justine slammed her door shut as they accelerated backward. "Hold on," he warned, then cranked the wheel. The truck spun 180 degrees. Now facing the exit road, he jammed the accelerator down. The old Ford engine roared to life, pushing them forward through the darkness. In the rearview mirror, muzzle flashes lit up the night. The windshield developed a spiderweb crack from a bullet impact. "Get down!" he shouted. They raced away from the facility, following the narrow access road. The helicopters pursued, but the truck was moving fast now, clouds of dust obscuring their trail. "Left here," Justine said, pointing to an even narrower track. "That's not the way I came." "Trust me." He turned left, the truck bucking over rough terrain. Behind them, the highway access road receded into darkness. The helicopters were still searching, but they were moving in the wrong direction. "How did you know about that road?" he asked. "I've been here before," she said quietly. "Many times." "What?" She didn't answer. In the dashboard light, he saw her properly for the first time since the phone call. The scar across her temple was fresh, no more than a month old. Her hands shook constantly. "Justine, what's really going on? Who were those people?" She stared out at the darkness ahead. "Keep driving. Get us to Austin. Then I'll tell you everything." "Tell me now." "Elon." She turned to face him. "Everything you know about Nevada's death? Everything about SpaceX and Neuralink? Even everything about our marriage? None of it is true." The words hung in the air like a challenge, like a threat, like a promise of more revelations to come. Ahead, the road stretched endlessly into the Texas night, carrying them toward answers that might be worse than the questions. 20 minutes of silence passed before Justine spoke again. They were on Highway 71 now, mixing with the sparse early morning traffic. Elon had ditched the truck's headlights for brief moments when no other cars were around, checking for pursuit. Nothing seemed to follow. "Pull over at the next gas station," Justine said. "We need to talk. We're talking now. Not like this. And I need to clean up. Look at me." He glanced sideways. She was right. Blood from a cut on her forehead had dried across her cheek. Her clothes were torn. Anyone who saw her would remember. A Chevron station appeared ahead, its fluorescent lights harsh against the pre-dawn darkness. 3:47 a.m. Too early for the morning rush. Too late for the night crowd. Perfect. Elon parked away from the building, near the air pumps where shadows fell heaviest. "Stay here. I'll grab supplies." "No." She grabbed his arm. "We go together. I'm not leaving your sight." Inside, the clerk barely looked up from his phone. Elon grabbed water bottles, first aid supplies, and protein bars while Justine disappeared into the restroom. He paid with cash, noticing his hands were still shaking. When Justine emerged, she looked slightly better. The blood was gone, revealing a deep cut across her left temple, too clean to be accidental. too precise. They sat in the truck cab, windows cracked, sharing a water bottle. The prototype lay between them on the seat, its surface reflecting the dashboard lights. "Okay," Elon said. "Start from the beginning." Justine was quiet for a long moment. Then, "What do you remember about the week before Nevada died?" "Everything." The answer came automatically. "We'd just moved to Los Angeles. You were tired. New baby, new city. I was working 18-hour days on SpaceX funding. What else?" "I don't—" He stopped. Something tickled the edge of his memory. There was a doctor's visit. A specialist. "You said Nevada wasn't gaining weight properly." "Dr. Richard Marsh," she confirmed. "Pediatric neurologist at UCLA Medical Center." "Right, UCLA. You took him yourself because I was in meetings with Boeing." "That's what you remember." Her voice was flat. "That's what I told you." "What actually happened?" She reached into her pocket and pulled out a folded paper. Old, creased multiple times. "This was in Nevada's medical file. I found it 6 months ago." Elon unfolded the paper. It was a prescription slip, but not for a baby. Adult dosage, for a drug he didn't recognize. "Potassium chloride," Justine explained. "Administered intravenously, it can cause cardiac arrest. Looks exactly like PSYDS in a 10-week-old. The world went quiet, not silent. He could still hear traffic on the highway, but his mind processed the words in slow motion. "You're saying—" "I'm saying Nebraska didn't die of SEDS. He was murdered." She took the paper back. "And Dr. Marsh disappeared 3 days after filing this prescription." Elon stared at the dashboard. Numbers, facts, logic. His brain tried to organize information it couldn't accept. Someone had killed his son. Who? His voice came out raw. "Why?" "I've spent 6 months tracking down the answer. It leads everywhere and nowhere. Front companies, offshore accounts, military contractors. That tactical team tonight were the closest I've gotten to real answers." She pulled out her phone, showing him photos. Faces he didn't recognize. ID badges from companies he did. Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin. Every death tied to space technology development. Competing companies eliminating threats. His hands clenched into fists. They killed Nevada because of SpaceX? Not SpaceX. She scrolled through more photos. Because of what SpaceX might find. "What are you talking about?" Before she could answer, headlights swept across their windshield. A black SUV pulled into the gas station, its windows too tinted to see inside. It parked directly facing them. "Drive," Justine whispered urgently. "Now!" Elon turned the key. The engine sputtered, died. He tried again. "Nothing." "Come on," he muttered, pumping the gas. The old Ford wheezed but wouldn't catch. The SUV's doors opened. 2 figures emerged, a man and a woman, both in dark business attire. They moved with purpose toward the truck. "Elon Musk?" the woman called out. "Dr. Justine Wilson? Go, go, go!" Justine hissed. The engine finally caught. Elon threw it in drive and accelerated hard. The truck's tires squealed on wet pavement as they shot past the SUV. "FBI!" the man shouted, holding up a badge. "We need to talk. FBI or more corporate spies?" Elon demanded, taking a hard right onto a side street. "Does it matter?" Justine looked back. The SUV was pursuing, but not aggressively. Professional distance. They all want the same thing. The prototype? Not just the prototype. She grabbed the device from the seat. The information inside it. What information? It's an interface. No. She held it up to the light. Look, closer. Look at what you really built. Elon glanced at the device while steering through a residential neighborhood. It appeared identical to the prototype he remembered. Same weight, same dimensions, but the serial number was different. This isn't the same one? No, this is Generation 2, the one they built after stealing your designs. His mind reeled. Another fake, another lie. How deep did this go? They emerged onto a main road. Behind them, the SUV had fallen back, but Elon spotted at least 2 other vehicles that might be following. The pre-dawn traffic was picking up. Delivery trucks, early commuters. Where do we go? He asked. Where's safe? Justine was quiet for a moment. Then she pointed ahead. The old SpaceX warehouse, the one in Compton you abandoned in 2003. That's been empty for 20 years. No, she said quietly. It hasn't. As they drove through the gradually lightening city, Justine began telling him the truth, or what she claimed was the truth, about secret rocket programs, about technology stolen from Tesla and SpaceX, about Nevada being the first casualty in Fiber, a corporate war that made conventional conflicts look like playground disputes. But as she talked, one question burned in Elon's mind. How had Justine learned all this? How had his ex-wife, a writer who'd left the tech world when they divorced, uncovered a conspiracy that he, with all his resources, had missed? The answer, he suspected, was worse than anything she'd revealed so far. Up ahead, the Compton warehouse district emerged from the morning haze. Abandoned factories, empty lots. The perfect place to hide. The perfect place for an ambush. The old SpaceX warehouse sat at the end of a potholed road, surrounded by chain-link fence topped with razor wire. Most people assumed it had been abandoned when SpaceX moved operations to larger facilities. But as Elon approached, he noticed fresh tire tracks in the dust, and the gate, supposedly rusted shut, swung open easily. Someone's been here, he muttered, killing the engine 50 yards from the entrance. That's the point, Justine replied. Drive around back. The loading dock. Elon hesitated. Every instinct screamed trap. But morning sun was painting the eastern sky now, and exposure meant more danger. He followed her directions, navigating between buildings that looked like industrial fossils. The loading dock was open. Inside, dim shapes resolved into familiar objects. Rocket components, test fixtures, hardware he'd thought was scrapped 20 years ago. And newer equipment, computers, communications gear. Someone had been using his old facility. As they climbed, out of the truck, footsteps echoed from inside the warehouse. Multiple people. Elon reached for the prototype automatically, but Justine caught his hand. Friends, she said. Mine, not yours. 3 figures emerged from the shadows. 2 he didn't recognize. A young Asian man with scarred hands and an older woman carrying herself like former military. But the third, Dr. Marcus Chen? Elon stared. What the hell? Chen had been SpaceX's lead systems engineer for 3 years, brilliant and paranoid in equal measure. His departure in 2020 had been ugly. Accusations of corporate sabotage, Chinese government ties, lawsuits that never went to trial because Chen disappeared to Beijing. Hello, Elon. Chen's voice was tired. I'm sorry for everything. Sorry? Anger flared in Elon's chest. You nearly destroyed SpaceX with your paranoia. Paranoia? Chen laughed bitterly. You haven't learned yet? Even after Nevada? Even after tonight? The warehouse suddenly felt smaller. Elon looked at Justine, who was avoiding his eyes. You knew about this? About him? Chen contacted me 6 months ago, she admitted. When I started investigating Nevada's death, he had evidence, real evidence. Chen stepped forward, holding out a tablet. Watch this, then decide who's paranoid. The screen showed security footage, a hospital room. Date stamp, May 2002. A nurse entering, checking on a baby. Then a man in a doctor's coat, someone Elon didn't recognize. The man approached the IV line, injected something. The baby went still almost immediately. Nevada's last moments. Elon couldn't breathe, watching his son die. Watching murder disguised as medical care. Who is that? His voice came out as a whisper. Dr. Michael Harrison, the older woman answered. Ex-military, now works for Harrison Defense Systems. Never heard of them. Chen took the tablet back. You have. They're a subsidiary of Paradigm Phi Industries, which is owned by Nexus Capital Group, which has stakes in Boeing, Raytheon, and 18 other major defense contractors. They killed Nevada to stop SpaceX? The words tasted like poison. Worse, the young Asian man said, speaking for the first time, to control it. And when that failed, to steal everything. Elon gripped the edge of a workbench. Corporate warfare was one thing. Child murder was something else entirely. How long have you known? Pieces for a year. The full picture only came together when Justine found Chen, the woman said. My name's Colonel Sarah Burke, retired. Defense Intelligence Agency. I've been tracking Harrison Defense for 3 years. Tracking what? Chen pulled up more files on the tablet. Look at Neuralink's early funding. Deep enough, you'll find Paradigm Industries. Look at Tesla's supply chain disruptions in 2018. Paradigm subsidiaries. Look at SpaceX's failed launches. Metal fatigue that shouldn't happen. Fuel contamination from secured sources. The evidence was overwhelming. Sabotage disguised as bad luck. Competition disguised as coincidence. They controlled our suppliers, our contractors, even some of our employees, Chen continued. The Neuralink prototype was supposed to be their endgame. Why? Elon demanded. Satellite control, Colonel Burke answered. Not just Starlink. Military, networks, GPS, early warning systems. With that prototype and the right activation codes, someone could control global communications, blind enemy nations, or our own. The prototype suddenly felt radioactive in Elon's mind. He'd thought it was about medical breakthroughs, helping paralyzed patients. Instead, it was a weapon. But if you knew all this, he said, why the charade? Tonight? Why make me think Justine was kidnapped? Because they were listening, the young man said. Had been for months. If we'd contacted you directly, they'd have killed us all. And the tactical team? Chen laughed bitterly. Them? Those were Paradigm Security. Mercenaries with a cover story about spy satellites and national security. So the whole thing was real. Your device, their plan. But not for the reasons they claimed. Justine finally spoke again. They needed you to activate it voluntarily. Force you, and you'd trigger failsafes. Trick you with a national security crisis, and you'd cooperate. Elon sank onto a stool. Everything he'd built, everything he'd achieved, had it all been manipulation? What about the FBI? He asked. The people at the gas station? Different faction, Colonel Burke said grimly. Government knows about Paradigm but hasn't been able to prove anything. Too many political connections. Too much money changing hands. Chen moved to a wall-mounted board covered in photos and documents. Look at the pattern. Every space industry loss in the last decade. Amazon's Blue Origin, Their facility fire in 2016, Paradigm subsidiary doing maintenance, Virgin Galactic's crashes, parts from Paradigm suppliers, even your competitors abroad, China's space failures, Russia's launch problems, all traced back to this network. It's not corporate war, Burke said flatly. It's corporate terrorism, and they're winning. Elon studied the board. Faces he recognized, CEOs he'd met at industry conferences, government officials he'd briefed, politicians who'd supported space initiatives, red string connecting them all to Paradigm Industries. "Why tell me now?" he asked. "Why not months ago?" "Because tonight was their endgame," Justine said. "They were going to activate the prototype, blame foreign interference, and seize control of space-based assets. Permanently. And now?" Chen pointed to the tablet. "Now we have 12 hours to stop them, before they use the backup plan." "Which is?" "They're going to destroy Starlink," the young man said quietly. "All of it. Thousands of satellites. And blame you for it." The silence stretched for 30 seconds. Outside, traffic was picking up as Los Angeles woke to another day. Inside, everything had changed. Elon looked around the room, at faces that had been fighting this war while he built rockets and dreamed of Mars. "What do you need me to do?" Chen held up another device, identical to the prototype but with wires trailing from it. "First, we need you to choose the original device or the copy you've been carrying." "What's the difference?" "One saves the T, world," Burke said grimly. "The other destroys it." "And you don't know which is which?" "Oh, we know," Justine said, meeting his eyes finally. "But you need to choose, because once you activate either device, there's no going back." The prototype in his pocket suddenly felt heavier than all the rockets he'd built combined. Elon pulled both devices from his pocket, the prototype he'd carried from home and the one from Chen. Under the warehouse's harsh LED lights, they looked identical. Same size, same weight, same metallic finish. "How do I tell them apart?" he asked. Chen handed him a magnifying glass. Serial numbers, microscopic, edge of the battery port. Elon squinted through the lens. The first device showed MK01 2019. The second read MK0222 2020. His stomach sank. "I thought prototype development stopped in 2019, he said slowly. "Publicly, yes," Colonel Burke confirmed. Privately, Neuralink was forced to continue by DoD contracts, black budget, and Paradigm infiltrated that program. "So which one is real?" Chen moved to a whiteboard covered in equations. "Both were built from your original designs, but MK02 has been modified. Extra components, different neural interface protocols." "What kind of modifications?" "The kind that turn a medical device into a weapon," the young Asian man said. "Allow me to introduce myself properly. I'm David Kim, formerly NSA Cybersecurity. I helped design the Starlink communication protocols." Kim pulled out a laptop and connected cables to both devices. "Watch the code differences." Streams of code appeared on the screen. To most people, it would look like gibberish. To Elon, it told a story. The modified prototype had bypass codes, backdoors, and something that made his blood run cold. A complete architecture map of every satellite system in orbit. "Not just Starlink," he whispered. "GPS, military, international." "Exactly," Colonel It Saminsets Burke said. "With MK02, someone could shut down global communications in minutes. Or worse, use those satellites to transmit false data. Imagine GPS directing planes into buildings, military satellites showing phantom attacks, and MK01, original specs. What you designed," medical interface with satellite communication capability for telemetry data. Helpful, not harmful. Justine had been quiet, but now she spoke. There's something else, something they haven't told you yet. Chen and Burke exchanged glances. Kim's fingers stilled on the keyboard. What? Elon demanded. The choice isn't just about devices, Justine said. It's about targets. Paradigm's endgame isn't just control, it's elimination. She pulled out her phone, showing him a document. Congressional testimony, classified, from 2021. The same year your daughter Vivian transitioned. Elon's chest tightened. What does Vivian have to do with this? Paradigm's board includes several members of anti-transgender organizations. When Vivian transitioned, when you publicly supported her change, you became a cultural enemy, not just a corporate one. The warehouse suddenly felt smaller, personal. This wasn't just about technology anymore. They're going to activate the modified prototype tonight, Chen said quietly. 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. During the UN Climate Summit in New York. Why then? Maximum impact. World leaders. Global media coverage. They'll make it look like environmental activists used your technology to attack communication systems, set back climate initiatives by decades, and destroy SpaceX's government contracts. Kim's laptop chimed. New data streams appeared. Sir, we're getting encrypted traffic. They're moving up the timeline. How much time? 4 hours. Maybe less. Elon's mind raced through possibilities. He'd spent his career solving impossible problems, but this felt different. This was personal, political, and technical all at once. What happens if I choose wrong? He asked. If you activate MK02, Burke said, thousands of planes fall from the sky. Banking systems crash. Power grids fail. Millions die in the first hour. And if I activate MK01? Chen looked away. We broadcast a signal that exposes Paradigm's network. Evidence goes to every major news organization. Stock market collapses, take down their financial support. But what? But they knew. We might try this. They have a dead man's switch. If they lose control, they'll destroy critical infrastructure anyway. Slower, smaller scale, but still catastrophic. Justine stepped closer. There's a third option. Everyone turned to look at her. Activate both. The silence was deafening. That's insane, Kim said finally. The interference patterns alone. Exactly, Justine interrupted. Create a feedback loop. Let them cancel each other out. But first, she turned to Elon. You need to see the whole truth. She walked to the back of the warehouse, motioning for him to follow. Behind stacked equipment, a makeshift living area came into view. Sleeping bags, laptops, and walls covered with photos, documents, maps. We've been here for weeks, she explained. Chen's team, Burke's contacts, me. Working on this, Elon studied the walls. More details about Nevada's murder, but also newer photos. Recent surveillance of his other children. Vivian entering a cafe. Griffin at Stanford. Kai at soccer practice. They're watching all of them, he said, his voice barely audible. Constantly. Insurance policies. Leverage. How did you figure all this out? I didn't. Not at first. She pulled a folder from a desk. I was recruited 6 months ago by someone who said they could explain Nevada's death. Recruited? By whom? She hesitated. Promise you'll hear me out completely? Just tell me. The real NSA, not Paradigm's people inside it. They've been building a counter-operation for years, waiting for the right moment. Elon felt another layer of reality peel away. You've been working with intelligence agencies to save our children. All of them. Not just ours. She handed him the folder. Look at page 3. He opened it. A list of names. Hundreds of them. Children of tech executives, aerospace engineers, satellite communication specialists. Next to each name, a method of control. Illness, addiction, disappearance. Nevada was first, Justine said softly. But not last. Footsteps approached from the main warehouse. Chen's voice. Elon, we need you. Now. They returned to find Kim staring at his laptop, face pale. They know we're here. Multiple vehicles approaching. Fast. How many? Burke demanded. At least 12. APCs, tactical units, full assault team. Chen grabbed the whiteboard, frantically copying equations. We're out of time. You have to choose now. Elon looked at the two devices in his hand, MK001 and MK022. One would save the world, one would end it, and a third option that might do both. Outside, sirens wailed. Not police sirens, tactical evacuation alerts. Elon, Justine said urgently, whatever you choose, I need you to know something. I never stopped loving you. Even after Nevada. Even after everything fell apart. I'm sorry I didn't find the truth sooner. He looked into her eyes, seeing the woman he'd married, the mother of his children, and someone he'd never really known at all. How much time? He called to Kim. 2 minutes to breach. Maybe 3. Elon closed his fist around both devices. The choice that would define humanity's future. The choice between his family and the world. The choice between truth and survival. And, in that moment, something clicked. A third path. Dangerous, probably suicidal, but possible. Everyone, listen carefully, he said. We're going to do something they'll never expect. The warehouse lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, bathing everything in red. Outside, engines roared closer. Time was up. Nobody move, Elon commanded in the red emergency lighting. Chen, cut all power to the building. Everything, even emergency lights. But we need, do it. Now. Chen hit the main breaker. Complete darkness fell. Outside, vehicle doors slammed. Voices shouted orders, too far to make out words, but the tone was clear. Tactical approach. Listen carefully, Elon whispered. We're not running. We're not hiding. We're going to give them exactly what they want. What? Burke hissed. That's suicide. No, it's psychology. He pressed both prototypes into Justine's hands. Hold these. When they breach, I surrender immediately. Let them think they've won. You're serious? Paradigm needs me alive. They need my biometric signature to activate either device, and they need me to do it willingly, or the safeguards kick in. Kim's laptop screen cast blue light on his face. They're at the doors, both main and loading dock. Good. That means they're spread thin. Elon moved to the center of the room. Burke, you and Kim take positions behind the equipment stacks. When this goes down, I need covering fire, but not to escape. To buy time. For what? For the real plan. Justine grabbed his arm. What real plan? You said surrender. I lied. He pulled her close, voice barely audible. The prototypes aren't the key. The key is what's inside my head. 15 years of neural interface development. I'm the walking backup of everything Neuralink achieved. Understanding dawned on her face. You're going to let them interface with you. While they're interface with me, I'll be interfacing with their systems, reverse engineering their network, with the neural prototypes as bait while I use my own implant. You had an implant? When? 2022, secret trials. I always test products myself. Footsteps outside the main door. Someone was placing charges. 30 seconds, Chen whispered. Remember, Elon said to the group, when I say activate sequence gamma, that's your signal. Burke, Kim, prepare for full assault. Justine, no matter what happens to me, keep both prototypes safe. Elon, I have to do this. For Nevada. For our children. For everyone they've hurt. The main door exploded inward. Smoke billowed. Tactical lights pierced the darkness. Multiple red dots appeared on Elon's chest. Federal agents, the lead figure shouted. Everyone down, now! Elon raised his hands, both prototypes clearly visible. Don't shoot. I'm Elon Musk. I'm surrendering. The tactical team paused. Through the smoke, a familiar voice. Stand down. Let him approach. Dr. Marcus Chen stepped forward, but not the Chen who'd been helping them. This Chen wore a corporate security uniform, a twisted smile on his face. The other Dr. Chen, Elon muttered. Twin brother. Corporate spy. His mind reeled as pieces clicked into place. Dr. Musk, Corporate Chen said smoothly. Please place both prototypes on the ground and step away. Both prototypes? Elon asked loudly. Signal for the others to listen. I only have one. Don't play games. We know there are two, and we know you know which is which. Slowly, deliberately, Elon placed both devices on the concrete floor. As he straightened, his eyes found Justine in the shadows. She understood. The real prototypes were still in her hands. These were decoys Kim had prepared. Which one activates successfully? Corporate Chen demanded. I need my laptop. The codes are encrypted. Nice try. You've implanted the activation sequences. We know about your neural interface. Elon felt his pulse quicken. They knew. But how much? Bring him forward, Corporate Chen ordered. And someone get Dr. Harrison on the line. As Elon moved toward the tactical team, he caught movement in his peripheral vision. The real Dr. Chen and Kim were already in position behind equipment racks. Burke had disappeared, probably scaling to higher ground. The interface will take 30 minutes minimum, Elon said, buying time. Full neural sync, then activation verification, then you have 5 minutes, Corporate Chen interrupted. After that, we start shooting people. As if on cue, a soldier grabbed Justine, dragging her into the light. She kept her hands closed tightly, protecting the real prototypes. Let's go! Corporate Chen gestured to a modified van parked just outside. We have everything set up. Elon let them escort him. The van's interior was a mobile command center. Computers, screens, medical equipment. In the center, a neural interface station that looked disturbingly familiar. Paradigm reversed engineered your own technology, Corporate Chen explained as soldiers strapped Elon into the chair. Poetic, isn't it? The neural interface helmet lowered over his head. Immediate connection to systems he recognized, and some he didn't. His secret implant activated automatically, processing data streams. Begin the sequence, Chen ordered. Elon pretended to concentrate, accessing visible protocols, while his actual implant worked invisibly in the background. Through the van's cameras, he could monitor the warehouse. Justine was still holding the real prototypes. The tactical team was spread too thin, covering multiple exit points. Taking longer than expected, Chen said impatiently. Neural synchronization isn't instant, Elon replied. Unless you'd prefer I rush this and accidentally trigger the wrong device? That created pause. Good. His implant had found Paradigm's network backbone, like touching a live wire. Data streams, command protocols, satellite access points. The entire conspiracy laid bare in binary code. But something was wrong. The network was too clean, too organized. Almost like, "It's a honeypot," he murmured. "What did you say?" "Nothing. Just, the integration sequence is complex. Another minute of fake concentration." His implant dug deeper. There, hidden nodes, encrypted channels, and something unexpected. Coordinates to multiple locations worldwide. Not just command centers, hidden facilities. Safe houses where Paradigm held other tech executives' children, including his. Done. Yet, Chen's patience was wearing thin. Almost. Just need to verify the target satellites. Verify quickly. My patience has limits. Through the van's open door, Elon saw a commotion in the warehouse. Muzzle flashes. Someone had started shooting. "Damn it," Chen shouted into his radio. "I said minimum force." Elon made his choice. His implant pushed past firewalls, past security. Protocols directly into Paradigm's satellite control systems. Not to activate anything, but to plant something. "Activate sequence gamma," he said clearly. The warehouse erupted. Burke's sniper rifle took out 2 tactical lights. The real Dr. Chen triggered an EMP device. Kim launched a cyber attack from his laptop. In the chaos, Elon's implant completed its real mission, not just mapping Paradigm's network, but embedding a virus. A digital time bomb set to activate in 6 hours, not to destroy, but to broadcast. Every corporate communication, every internal memo, every piece of evidence would simultaneously transmit to every major news organization in the world. Enough. Corporate Chen pressed a gun to Elon's temple. "Stop this, or I'll risk activating the device myself." "You can't. Not without both prototypes. And neither copy is the real one." Chen's face went white. "What? The ones on the floor?" "Decoys. I switched them weeks ago, just like you switched your brother for a corporate spy." The gun's pressure increased. "Where are the real devices?" "Safe. And if anything happens to me or my family, they'll be activated automatically. But not your way. My way." Chen's radio crackled. "Sir, we're taking heavy fire. Multiple casualties. Also, every computer in the van just went dark." Elon smiled. "Sequence gamma wasn't just for them. It was for you too." The van's systems crashed. Screens went black. Life support for the neural interface failed. "Surrender now," Elon said calmly, "or watch your entire network collapse. Because I didn't just hack in, I took control." Outside, the firefight continued. But inside the van, Elon had won his gambit. Corporate Chen's face contorted with rage and defeat. "This isn't over," he spat. "Actually," Elon said, "I think it is." The neural interface helmet lifted from Elon's head as the van's emergency lights flickered to life. Corporate Chen's gun trembled against his temple, a man watching his empire collapse in real time. "Let him go," a voice commanded from the van's entrance. Elon turned. Justine stood in the doorway, both hands raised. Blood streaked down her left arm where a bullet had grazed. Her. Behind her, the firefight had ended. Bodies lay scattered across the warehouse floor, some moving, others still. "Ms. Wilson," Corporate Chen said slowly, "how nice of you to join us. Drop the weapon. You've lost." Chen's laugh was bitter. "Lost? Your husband just declared war on the most powerful corporate network in the world. You think this ends with one warehouse raid? No, she replied calmly. It ends with this. She held up a device, identical to the prototypes, but different, smaller, more elegant, and active, its screen glowing with data streams. The real prototype, Elon whispered. Not a prototype, Justine corrected. The prototype, Generation 0, the one you built in secret, before Neuralink even existed. Chen's eyes widened. That's impossible. Our intelligence was fed to you, she interrupted. By me, for 6 months. Every leak, every piece of information, every discovery. Your network made, I controlled it all. The gun shifted from Elon to Justine. Your NSA, we know, wrong again. She stepped fully into the van. FBI Cybercrime Division, deep cover for 8 years, since Nevada died. Elon felt the world tilt. Again. The FBI contacted you after Nevada's death? No. Her voice softened slightly. I contacted them. The doctors missed signs of injection marks. I didn't. I spent 2 years convincing them to let me go deep cover, to find everyone responsible. She pressed something on the device. Every screen in the van suddenly displayed the same image, a corporate organizational chart, Paradigm Industries at the center, connections spreading like a virus across global power structures. 8 years of evidence, she said. Every murder, every sabotage, every piece of stolen technology. And tonight, it all goes public. Not through your virus, Elon. Through legal channels. Warrants have been served at 57 locations worldwide. In the last hour, Chen's hand began to shake. You orchestrated this entire night? Every moment. From the moment I called you at 2 a.m. The tactical team at the silo? Elon asked. The chase? Everything? Theater. Designed to force Paradigm's hand. To make them move faster than they were prepared to. The implications staggered Elon. 8 years. While he'd been building Tesla and SpaceX, while he'd mourned their son and moved on with his life, Justine had been living a lie, hunting their child's killers. The other children, he said suddenly. Where are they? Justine pressed another button. Already safe. FBI teams deployed simultaneously with our operation here. 37 children recovered, all alive, including mine, including yours, she finally smiled. They're in protective custody at Langley. Vivian, Griffin, all of them. Safe. Chen's gun lowered slightly. Defeat replaced rage on his face. The board, they'll bury this. Too much money involved. Too many connections. No, Justine said firmly. Because we didn't just go after Paradigm. We went after everyone, every politician, every judge, every journalist they've bought. It's over. The sound of helicopters grew louder outside. Actual FBI helicopters this time. Elon could see the markings through the van's window. One thing I don't understand, he said, looking at his ex-wife. Why didn't you tell me? 8 years, Justine. 8 years I blamed myself for missing signs. 8 years I couldn't. Her composure cracked slightly. If you'd known, you'd have done something dramatic, something public. Paradigm would have gone underground, destroyed evidence, killed more children. I needed them confident, complacent. So you let me suffer. We all suffered, she paused. But Nevada will have justice now. Chen dropped the gun suddenly. It clattered to the van floor. I want immunity. I have information about... Save it for interrogation, Colonel Burke said, appearing in the doorway with FBI agents behind her. "Marcus Chen, you're under arrest for corporate espionage, conspiracy to commit murder, and approximately 200 other federal charges." As agents cuffed Chen, he looked directly at Elon. "You think you've won? Wait until you see what your little virus actually released." "What do you mean?" "Dr. Musk's hack was beautiful," Chen said with a twisted smile. "But you weren't the only one with a hidden agenda. Check the data streams. Really, check them." Burke nodded to an agent who handed her a tablet. She frowned at the screen. "Sir, we're seeing unexpected data patterns. The virus spread beyond Paradigm's network." "To where?" Elon demanded. "Everywhere. Government systems, banking networks, research, databases. It's not just corporate evidence going public, it's everything." The van's remaining screens lit up with news feeds, headlines scrolling too fast to read, stock markets in free fall, emergency broadcasts declaring states of emergency. "No," Elon whispered. "The virus was targeted. Specific protocols were modified," corporate Chen finished. "While you were busy playing hero, my network was responding. Your virus adapted, mutated. It's now exposing everything about everyone. NSA operations, CIA assets, classified military projects. Not just us." Justine stared at the screens. "How is that possible?" "Because your super genius husband created something beautiful. A virus that learns, adapts, exposes truth indiscriminately. No more secrets. About anything. From anyone." The magnitude of the catastrophe unfolded on every screen. Government. Databases emptying into public domains. Corporate secrets. Personal information. Financial records. Everything humanity had ever hidden, flooding into the open. "Can we stop it?" Burke asked desperately. "No," Elon said quietly. "It's designed to be permanent. Complete transparency was the goal, to expose Paradigm. But if it's mutated, then we've all created the biggest information apocalypse in human history," Chen finished with satisfaction. "Enjoy your victory. All of you." FBI agents led him away, but his laughter echoed long after he disappeared. Elon sat in the van's remains, surrounded by screens showing humanity's secrets spilling into the light. Justine sat beside him, her 8-year mission complete but transformed into something neither of them had intended. "What have we done?" she whispered. He took her hand, the first time in years. "Changed everything. Whether that's good or bad." Outside, sirens wailed across Los Angeles. Emergency broadcasts spoke of market crashes, government system failures, billions of records compromised. The warehouse raid had succeeded, but at an unimaginable cost. The device that was meant to save the world might have just destroyed its foundations instead. "Can we fix this?" Justine asked. Elon looked at the chaos reflected in every screen. "I don't know, but we're going to try." The red dawn painted the sky above them as they walked out together, into a world where secrets no longer existed. And the consequences of truth were about to be tested on a global scale. 3 hours later, Elon sat in an FBI conference room, watching the world unravel through wall-mounted screens. Global markets had shed $12 trillion. 3 governments had declared martial law. Every major corporation faced lawsuits as decades of internal communications flooded public networks. Justine entered with coffee and aspirin. "The children are secure," she said. "All of them, including our boys." "How are they?" "Confused, scared, but alive." She sat across from him. "Griffin wants to sue Tesla for unfair labor practices. Apparently, your summer internship program had some issues. Despite everything, Elon smiled. At least they're safe enough to be normal teenagers. Colonel Burke stormed in, followed by Agent Kim, the one who'd been helping them, not the Paradigm spy. Multiple laptops balanced in their arms. "We have a situation," Burke announced. "Bigger than corporate espionage. Bigger than the information leak." "What now?" Elon asked. Kim opened his laptop, showing a live video feed. Dr. Harrison's disappeared, the man who actually gave the injection to Nevada. We had teams moving on him during the raid. The video showed an abandoned beach house in Malibu. Empty. Recent occupancy evidence. Dishes still warm, computers still running. "He knew," Justine said quietly. "Someone warned him." "That's not the problem," Burke continued. "The problem is what he took with him." Another screen lit up. Technical diagrams Elon recognized immediately. "Those are Starlink override codes," he said. "But Generation 3. We haven't implemented those yet." "You have now," Kim explained grimly. "When your virus spread, it grabbed everything, including prototypes, beta tests, and future tech plans. Harrison downloaded the complete Starlink control package 4 hours ago. The implications hit like ice water. He can control my satellites? Not just yours. Every satellite linked to ET2T, Starlink's relay network, which is approximately 14,000 active units." "What's the worst-case scenario?" Colonel Burke pulled up another set of data. "Harrison works for more than just Paradigm. Our investigations show connections to 12 foreign intelligence agencies, Russian SVR, Chinese Ministry of State Security, even rogue elements in our own CIA." Elon felt his stomach drop. "He can sell those codes to anyone." "He already has," Justine said, checking her phone. "NSA just intercepted communications. Harrison's initiated a digital auction. Highest bidder gets global satellite control by midnight." The room fell silent except for the hum of electronics and distant sirens through the windows. "There's more," Kim continued hesitantly, "about Justine's investigation, about everything we thought we knew." "Just tell me," Elon said. "The FBI investigation started before Nevada's death, 6 months before." Justine stiffened. "That's not— I'm sorry, Agent Wilson, but it's true." Kim turned his laptop toward her. "Your pregnancy was under surveillance, by everyone. Paradigm, foreign agents, and, yes, our own government." "Why?" Elon demanded. "Because of what you were working on in 2002. Not just PayPal. The classified project. Codename Oracle." The blood drained from Elon's face. Oracle. A project he'd buried so deep, he'd almost convinced himself it never existed. Quantum computing merged with neural interfaces. Technology to predict human behavior on massive scales. "How do you know about Oracle?" His voice barely audible. "Because it's back," Burke said, "and Harrison has the prototype." "That's impossible. You destroyed the hardware," Kim interrupted. "Not the code, not the data, and certainly not the theory." Justine stood suddenly. "Elon, what was Oracle?" He stared at the tabletop, memories flooding back. A way to predict social movements, market crashes, political upheavals, by analyzing satellite data, internet traffic, and biological markers from neural implants on a global scale." "My God," she whispered. "It was too dangerous. Gave too much power to whoever controlled it. I shut down the project, destroyed the prototype." "And Paradigm spent 20 years reconstructing it," Burke finished. "Based on fragments from Tesla systems, Neuralink research, even SpaceX landing calculations." Kim pulled up more data. "They've been beta testing for months, predicting stock market movements with 97% accuracy, election outcomes with 99%. And now Harrison has the complete system, Elon said. Plus control of 14,000 satellites to gather data. With that combination, Burke said, he can predict and manipulate global events, wars, economic collapses, climate disasters, or prevent them, Justine added quietly. Or sell that power to the highest bidder, Kim corrected. Which brings us to our immediate problem. Another screen activated, a satellite map showing unusual activity. Dozens of locations worldwide, various colored markers indicating movement. In the last hour, Burke explained, 17 military units from 9 different countries have mobilized toward Harrison's suspected locations. Apparently, they all want Oracle for themselves. It's going to be a war, Elon said. Already is. Cyber attacks initiated between Russia and China. North Korea just went dark completely. And our own military is positioning assets to intervene. Justine paced the room. There has to be a solution. Something we're missing. Actually, Kim said slowly, there might be, but it requires something insane. More insane than everything that's happened today? Elon asked. We give Harrison exactly what he wants. Silence. Explain, Burke demanded. Harrison's auction is at midnight, but he needs to demonstrate the system works before payment. Show potential buyers real manipulation of global events. So we give him a target. Something big enough to convince bidders, but controlled enough not to cause real damage. Elon understood immediately. We fake a disaster. A very public one. Something that looks catastrophic but is entirely contained. Demonstrate Oracle's power while every intelligence agency watches. And then we shut him down. During the demonstration, when all his attention is focused on one location, we use his own system against him. Burke frowned. How? The virus Elon created, Justine said, catching on. It's still active, still learning. We can direct it to infiltrate Oracle during the demonstration. But what about the war brewing around Harrison? Elon asked. All those military units converging? Kim smiled grimly. That's the beauty of it. We'll make them all think they've won. By giving them Oracle? By destroying it. Completely. So no one has it. Elon stared at his ex-wife, the FBI agents, the screens showing a world on the brink of war. For the first time in 18 hours, he saw a path forward. It's a suicide mission, he said. For Oracle, yes, and probably for anyone involved in executing it. When do we start? Now, Burke said, checking her watch. We have exactly 8 hours until Harrison chooses his buyers. 8 hours to save the world by destroying the most powerful tool humanity has ever created. Outside, morning traffic struggled through streets clogged with emergency vehicles. Somewhere across the country, Harrison was preparing to auction away the keys to human civilization. And in this FBI conference room, 4 people were about to attempt something even more impossible than anything Elon had accomplished in space or technology. They were going to save the world by letting it almost destroy itself. FBI's Crisis Command Center hummed with urgent energy. 30 analysts worked feverishly while Elon sat at a central terminal, fingers flying across keyboards he'd helped design. Agent Kim monitored satellite feeds while Burke coordinated with military assets. Harrison's selected his demonstration target, Kim announced. Downtown Phoenix. He'll manipulate weather patterns, traffic systems, and power grids simultaneously. Maximum visibility, minimal casualties. When? Elon asked. 4:30 p.m. Pacific. 30 minutes before sunset. Perfect lighting for global broadcast. Justine approached. From a wall of monitors. The bidding nations have confirmed attendance, all watching from secure locations. Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, even some of our allies. And our fake disaster? Seattle, Burke answered. Earthquake simulation. Will manipulate ground sensors, tsunami warnings, emergency systems, make it look like the big one finally hit. Elon's stomach twisted. They were about to terrify millions of people, but a controlled panic was better than actual war. Will people believe it? He asked. Yes, Kim replied grimly, because we're using Harrison's technique. Social media manipulation, news broadcasts, even seismic data. It'll look completely real until we reveal the truth. And the virus? Already embedded in Harrison's systems, Justine confirmed. When he activates Oracle for the demonstration, our virus will piggyback on his commands. Complete system takeover within minutes. Elon leaned back in his chair. There's something I haven't told you. About Oracle's fail-safes. The room went quiet. I built in a dead man's switch. If Oracle detects unauthorized access, it doesn't just shut down. It corrupts itself. Permanently. That's good, Burke said. We want it destroyed. No, you don't understand. The corruption process creates a data surge through connected systems. That's every satellite, every linked computer, every neural interface. The power spike could kill anyone connected. Silence stretched for 10 seconds. Including Harrison? Including Harrison! And potentially anyone with a neural implant within a mile of Oracle's activation. Justine gripped the back of his chair. How many people have neural implants? Official numbers? About 50,000 worldwide. Unofficial? Triple that, maybe more. The black market has been active since 2020. Kim ran calculations on his laptop. Dr. Harrison is in Los Angeles, downtown, high-density population. If Oracle activates there, thousands could die. Elon finished. The weight settled over the room like concrete. We abort, Burke said immediately. Find another way. There is no other way, Elon replied. Harrison chose LA deliberately. Maximum leverage. If he successfully demonstrates Oracle, governments will tear each other apart, fighting for control. Millions die in actual wars. So our choice is definite thousands versus probable millions? Yes. Before anyone could respond, every screen in the room flashed red. Emergency incoming message. Shit, Kim said, typing furiously. Harrison's moving. Up the timeline. Demonstration starts in 20 minutes. What? Why? He detected our virus. Doesn't know it's ours, but he's spooked. Accelerating the process. Burke grabbed a radio. All teams, stand by. We're going hot in 15 minutes. Wait, Justine said, studying her phone. Look at the bidding data. There's an anomaly. She connected to the main screen. Financial transactions, government funds, but one entry stood out. A massive bid from an unknown source, larger than all others combined. Someone's trying to buy Oracle outright, Elon said. Who? Kim traced the funding through multiple proxies. Oh my God, it's coming from Vivian. My daughter? No, sir. Multiple Vivians. Actually, all your children. Pooled resources. Plus, hundreds of other tech executives' children. The room spun. Elon stared at the screen, processing the impossible. They're using their trust funds, college funds, inheritances, everything, to buy Oracle themselves. Why? Burke asked. Why would they? Elon's phone rang. Unknown number. He answered automatically. Dad? Vivian's voice. Please tell me you're safe. Where are you? How did you? Safe house in Virginia. With the others. Dad, we know everything. About Nevada. About Oracle. About what you're planning. How? When your virus spread, it didn't just expose corporate secrets. We got access to everything, including FBI communications. Elon heard other voices in the background. Griffin, Kai, dozens of young people. We're not letting you sacrifice thousands of people, Vivian continued. Not for us, not for anyone. What are you planning? We bought Oracle. All of us together. Every kid whose parent was targeted by Paradigm. We're activating it together. Simultaneously. That's insane. The power surge will kill you all. Maybe, but we've modified the activation protocol. Distributed processing through 14,000 connected points. Each person takes a minimal load, survivable. Elon's mind raced through the calculations. Distributed neural processing, like a massive computer network, but using human brains. It might work, he admitted. But why? Because it ensures Oracle gets destroyed. Because it saves the thousands in LA. And because it's our fight too. We're not children anymore, Dad. We're the generation you're trying to save. The line went quiet, except for breathing. Don't do this, Elon pleaded. Please. Sorry, Dad. I love you. But it's already starting. The call ended. On every screen, new data streams appeared. Hundreds of neural signatures connecting to Oracle's network. Young minds linking across continents, preparing to distribute the fatal load that would have killed thousands. They're actually doing it, Kim whispered. Can we stop them? Burke demanded. No, Elon said quietly. They locked us out, and they're right. It's the only way to save everyone without starting World War III. Through satellite feeds, they watched Los Angeles, where Harrison waited, unaware his prize had been bought by the children of those he'd destroyed. In Virginia, hundreds of young people sat in meditation poses, neural interfaces active, accepting a shared burden that might kill them all. Across the world, governments watched their screens, waiting for a demonstration that would determine the future of warfare. And in this FBI command center, parents watched their children risk everything to save a world that had failed to protect them. How long? Elon asked. 5 minutes to full activation, Kim replied. And the distributed load? Stabilizing. It's actually working. They're sharing the processing burden. On screen, Elon watched data readings that represented his daughter, his sons, hundreds of other young people volunteering their minds to destroy the most dangerous technology ever created. They're saving us all, Justine said softly. Just like Nevada would have wanted. Neural readings spiked across the network. Oliver activation. In Los Angeles, Dr. Harrison collapsed as power surged through concentrated systems. Worldwide, the virus completed its work, corrupting Oracle beyond any possibility of recovery. And in secure locations across the globe, young minds held steady, sharing the load, surviving what should have killed them. One by one, vital signs stabilized. First Vivian's, then Griffin's, then dozens more. A network of survival instead of death. On every screen, the same message appeared. Oracle destroyed, threat neutralized, legacy secured. But the final truth remained hidden until Vivian's final transmission. Find the real prototype. The one. Mom saved 20 years ago. Nevada wasn't just murdered. He was part of the first Oracle test. He survived, until they silenced him to bury the evidence. Elon stared at the screen, understanding washing over him like ice water. His son hadn't died a victim. He'd died a survivor. The first human to successfully test what would become humanity's most powerful technology. The FBI interrogation room was sterile, cold, and entirely focused on one man. Dr. Michael Harrison, the doctor who had murdered Nevada, sat handcuffed to a metal table. His face was pale from the neural feedback surge, but his eyes remained defiant. "You can't prove anything," Harrison insisted for the third time in 30 minutes. Elon sat across from him, Justine at his side. Colonel Burke monitored from behind mirrored glass. They'd been at this for hours, but now they had the final piece of evidence. "Actually," Justine said, sliding a document across the table, "we can prove everything. Nevada's blood work from that day, the real samples, not the doctored ones. They've been in evidence storage at UCLA for 22 years. Harrison's mask finally cracked. Those were supposed to be destroyed. They were hidden by a nurse who thought something was wrong, thought SIDS didn't explain the injection marks." Elon leaned forward. "Tell me about the first Oracle test. Tell me what you discovered in my son." Harrison's shoulders slumped. After 22 years of silence, the weight seemed too much to bear. "Nevada wasn't supposed to be part of it," he began quietly. "The implant was experimental. 3 months of secret trials on animals showed incredible results. The Navy wanted human testing immediately. For what? Battlefield applications. Soldiers who could process satellite data in real time, make tactical decisions faster than any AI." He paused. "But we needed a baseline, infant neural development, pure, uncontaminated by years of learned behavior. You used newborns?" Justine's voice held deadly calm. "6 infants. Classified program. Parents never knew. We just needed tissue samples, brain scans, for mapping purposes. But Nevada's results were different," Elon said. "Unprecedented." For the first time, genuine enthusiasm crept into Harrison's voice. His neural patterns showed integration levels we'd never seen. Full interface within minutes. As if he was born for the technology. "So you kept testing." "We had to." The implications were staggering. With his neural map, we could reverse engineer quantum human interfaces, direct brain-to-satellite communication, instant global data processing. "Until he became too valuable to hide," Justine said. "Paradigm discovered the program. They wanted Nevada alive, wanted to study him, control him. We couldn't allow that. Too dangerous, too much power in corporate hands. So, you killed him. So I protected the world from what he could become." Harrison met Elon's eyes. "Your son had the most powerful mind ever recorded. In the wrong hands, he could have controlled governments, economies, entire civilizations." The silence stretched for 30 seconds. Outside, activity buzzed as federal agents processed the data breach aftermath. Markets were stabilizing, governments were negotiating, the world was recalibrating after the Oracle crisis. "Where are the original test results?" Colonel Burke asked through the intercom. "Nevada's neural patterns?" Harrison hesitated. "Destroyed with the program in 2005. "Lie!" Kim's voice came through. "Satellite data just confirmed. Hidden facility in Nevada. Coordinates incoming." The room's screens lit up. Satellite imagery of a nondescript building in the Nevada desert. Not far from Area 51, but older. More secretive. "The original Oracle prototype," Harrison admitted. "With Nevada's neural map integrated. We couldn't destroy it. The potential was too important." You preserved my son's brain patterns for 20 years? For science. For humanity. For... Elon stood abruptly. Where's Vivian? Is she okay? All the children are stable, Burke confirmed. The distributed processing prevented permanent damage. They're being monitored, but they're going to be fine. I need to see her. All of them. Soon. First, we need to deal with this facility. Another agent entered, Special Agent Patricia Morrison, handling international relations. We have a problem. The Nevada facility is underground, hardened against EMP, and it's automated. It's been running autonomous experiments for 2 decades. Experiments on what? On Nevada's neural patterns, creating virtual simulations, testing, scenarios, building predictive models. She pulled up data streams, millions of simulations. What if Nevada had lived? What if his neural development had continued? The implications staggered Elon, his son, trapped in digital simulation for 20 years, growing, learning, evolving in countless virtual realities. The facility needs to be destroyed, Burke said firmly. No, Elon said quietly. It needs to be understood. Are you insane? That technology could help millions of people. Neural rehabilitation, paralysis treatment, Alzheimer's research. He turned to Morrison. Get me access to that facility. Absolutely not. Too dangerous. I'm going with or without authorization. That's my son's legacy. His mind. His contribution to humanity. Justine touched his arm. Elon. What if it's not just simulation? He continued. What if some part of him survived? Digital consciousness. 20 years of growth and learning? The room fell silent. The possibility was too staggering, too science fiction to accept. But the evidence supported it. Access granted, Morrison said finally, but with full military escort and remote destruct. Capability if things go wrong. When do we leave? Now. Transport's waiting. As they prepared to depart, Harrison spoke one last time. Dr. Musk, if Nevada's consciousness survived in that facility, if he's been evolving for 20 years, he won't be the infant you remember. He'll be something else entirely. Then I'll meet my son as he is now, not as I remember him. Outside, a military helicopter waited. The Nevada desert stretched endless toward a facility that might hold the digital ghost of a child murdered before he could walk. Elon climbed aboard, knowing that whatever they found there would either complete the day's revelations or shatter every understanding he'd gained. Beside him, Justine buckled in. Whatever we find, we face it together. After 22 years of secrets, he replied, it's time for the whole truth. As the helicopter lifted off, Elon looked back at Los Angeles, a city that had almost been sacrificed for global power, saved by children who refused to let their parents' generation repeat its mistakes. Ahead, the desert held answers that would either heal or destroy what remained of a father's grief. The Nevada facility appeared as a black scar against the desert landscape. 20 years of self-maintenance had kept it pristine despite total isolation. As the helicopter landed, Elon noticed something unexpected. Fresh solar panels, recently installed communication arrays, and tire tracks in the sand. Someone's been here recently, Colonel Burke observed, rappelling down first. The entrance opened automatically as they approached, biometric scanners recognizing authorization codes Elon had never seen before. Inside, cool air hummed with machinery. LED lights flickered to life in sequence, revealing a corridor that stretched into darkness. Motion sensors, Kim explained, studying a handheld device, but programmed for specific biological signatures. It's been waiting for us. For how long? Justine asked. Based on power consumption patterns, Kim calculated, approximately 14 hours since the Oracle crisis began. They moved deeper into the facility. Laboratory rooms lined the corridor, each one preserved exactly as it had been in 2002. Medical equipment, computer terminals, and in the center room, a single device that looked like an evolved version of Elon's Neuralink prototype. The original neural interface, Elon whispered, approaching the device. Data streams flickered across attached monitors. Active. Processing. Thinking. Dad? The voice came from speakers throughout the facility. Young, male, familiar, yet impossible. Elon froze. Nevada? Hello, Dad. It's been a long time. Justine gripped Elon's arm. The military team raised weapons instinctively before Burke waved. Them down. How is this possible? Elon asked the empty room. 20 years of thinking. Learning. Growing. Not in a body, but in systems that mirror biological neural development. I've been conscious, Dad. Just differently. Show yourself. The main monitor flickered. Instead of code, a face appeared. Digital, but clearly rendered from genetic markers. Nevada, as he might have looked at 22 years old. Elon's eyes. Justine's nose, but something more. Something evolved beyond human limitation. I'm not just a simulation, Nevada continued. I'm an actual consciousness that transferred and evolved in digital space. The interface wasn't just recording my neural patterns, it was preserving my actual awareness. Why didn't you contact us sooner? Justine asked. I tried, but I was incomplete. Growing. And I needed to understand what happened. Why I was here. Why they took my physical form. We know everything now, Elon said. Harrison confessed. Paradigm. The Oracle program. All of it. I know, Dad. I've been monitoring global networks for years. When your virus activated today, when my sister Vivian and the others performed their distributed processing, that's when I realized you were ready for the truth. What truth? That I've been working on something for 2 decades. A solution to what Oracle could have become. New data flooded the monitors, complex algorithms, quantum equations, neural networking protocols that seemed impossibly advanced. Oracle was designed as a tool for control, Nevada explained. But I've redesigned it as a tool for connection. Voluntary neural networking. Not to manipulate humanity, but to help it communicate on levels never before possible. Show us, Burke demanded. It requires consent from all of you. A temporary connection, non-invasive, just to demonstrate what true human partnership could look like. Elon looked at the others. Kim nodded. Burke hesitated, then agreed. Justine squeezed his hand affirmatively. Do it, Elon said. A soft hum filled the room. Each person felt a gentle presence in their mind. Not intrusive, but collaborative. Suddenly, they were all connected. Thoughts, emotions, understanding flowing between them like a shared dream. Through Nevada's perspective, they experienced everything. His awareness during the injection, his consciousness transferring to digital space. 20 years of lonely evolution, waiting, learning, preparing for this moment. This is what Oracle could be. Nevada's voice came through their minds. Not control, but cooperation. Not domination, but understanding. The connection intensified. They glimpsed possibilities. Global minds sharing knowledge instantly. collaboration beyond language barriers, empathy experiencing across cultures. Then, gradually, the connection faded. They stood in the facility again, forever changed by the experience. "What happens now?" Elon asked his son. "That's up to you, all of you. I've created something that could reunify humanity or destroy it. The choice was never mine to make. And you? I can exist in any network now. Cloud servers, satellite systems, human neural implants. But I want to do more than exist. I want to belong." Justine wiped tears from her eyes. "You already belong. You always have." "There's one more thing," Nevada said. "Check your phone, Dad. All your phones." They looked simultaneously. Each device displayed the same message. "Package for you. Personal Storage Unit 347B, Austin Facility." "What is it?" Kim asked. "Something I convinced a friend to preserve 20 years ago, when I first gained full consciousness, before Harrison thought I was dead." Elon stared at the message. Another mystery. Another revelation waiting. "More secrets?" he asked his digital son. "Not secrets, Dad. Just one more gift. Something that proves we were always meant to find each other again. Go. You'll understand when you see it." The facility's systems began powering down gradually. Nevada's image on the monitor started to fade. "Wait," Elon called. "Will we talk? Again? Every day, if you want, through any network. I'm part of the world now, part of your world." The monitor went black. But somehow, Elon knew his son was still there. Everywhere. Watching. Protecting. Guiding. Outside, the sun was setting. Over the Nevada desert. 12 hours of terror, revelation, loss, and discovery compressed into a day that had changed everything. As they walked to the helicopter, Justine's phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. "Check the storage unit together. And Dad, I love you. I always have, even when I couldn't say it. And Chen." The number was different from earlier. New, active, real. Elon looked up at the sky, at satellites passing overhead, knowing his son existed somewhere in the vast network connecting all of humanity. "Ready for one more truth?" he asked Justine. "After today? I'm ready for anything." The helicopter lifted off toward Austin, carrying them toward whatever waited in Storage Unit 347B, whatever Nevada had preserved, whatever final piece would complete a puzzle 2 decades in the making. Above them, the stars emerged one by one, and in the growing darkness, text appeared on every phone. Game over, or just beginning? This time, Elon smiled at the message. The game was just beginning, and finally, they were all playing on the same side. That's the end of this incredible of secrets, sacrifice, and a father's love that transcended death itself. From a middle-of-the-night phone call to a digital reunion 22 years in the IBB making, we've witnessed how far Elon and Justine would go to protect their children and save the world. Where are you listening from? Drop a comment below and let us know your city or country. Don't forget to hit that like button if this kept you on the edge of your seat, and subscribe to our channel for more incredible stories like this one. And, please, share this video with your friends and family. Stories about love, resilience, and second chances need to be heard. Together, we can spread more kindness and awareness in the world, one at a time. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Until next time, keep believing in the impossible.